All right, class. Welcome back to our seminar, From H.H. Holmes to the Night Stalker, Forensic and Psychological Investigations, aka How to Get Away with Murder 101. Okay, looks like everyone's here. Today, we'll be talking all about the upcoming midterm. I know, exciting stuff. But as you know, due to the gruesome nature of the course content, the college is requiring that I regularly check up on the mental health of all of my students. I will have to report any concerning behavior to the counseling center. So let's kick things off with the question of the day. What's the worst thing that's happened to you this week so far? I'll go first, as usual. I'd have to say it's hard to narrow it down to one thing, but I'll try my best. Since the state of the economy has forced me to move back in with my parents, who conveniently have the worst Wi-Fi I've ever used, I've been doing everything in my power to keep from feeling like a washed up 35-year-old failure. So this week I went and adopted a cat, maybe to give myself some responsibility or to take back ownership of my life. I don't have the energy to psychoanalyze myself right now. Anyway, her name is Bundy, and she's a complete spaz. I haven't slept in 3 days. Let's just say if you catch me consuming any alcoholic beverages during the meeting, please disregard.
Wow. All right, I guess I'll go next. As you guys know, these times have been super hard for me. I'm really missing football, and it's kind of killing me inside. I'm sure y'all understand. So I guess the worst thing that's happened to me this week is still no football. And my old jug wore out. So I had to get this new one. I really love that old jug. Coach gave it to me at our last game, and I'll never forget what he said to me. Hydrate or dihydrate, son. Hydrate or dihydrate.
Fascinating stuff, Brayson. Next, let's hear from Quinoa? Whatever, you talk next.
Excusez-moi. It's pronounced Cruchois. The worst thing about my week has definitely been not being able to see the glittering lights of the Tour Eiffel from my bedroom window. Did you know that the lights on the Eiffel Tower twinkle once per hour for 5 glorious minutes?
I guess I can go. The worst part of my week was probably having to analyze the effect of the Oedipus complex on societal norms. That's a lot of work.
That was a lot of work. I spent 2 weeks studying shrews. Wrote a 30-page paper on them. I made a 40-slide PowerPoint about them. I know everything there is to know about shrews. There are 385 species of shrews. There's Etruscan shrews, your southern short-tailed shrews, Eurasian pygmy shrews, Eurasian water shrews, Chinese mole shrews.
All right, moving along. You with the profile picture that's almost as scary as my ex.
You know Kim Jong-un is really Elvis Presley in disguise.
What?
They were both born on January 8th.
Don't make me mute you two.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Professor, but Raven's tangent has nothing to do with the warm-up question. And additionally, I find it hard to believe that their claim can be scientifically substantiated.
You want to talk about scientific substantiation? I'll tell you about scientific substantiation. Did you know that Dr. Errol Horsenberger spent the last 4 decades of his life gathering evidence to prove the existence of a new variety of shrew, the beaver-tailed shrew, but never succeeded in doing so?
I thought I muted you. Anyway, let's get on to our midterm study session. Remember, it's worth 20% of your grade.
Do y'all think we can leave? It looks like the professor got kicked out.
I don't think we're supposed to. This is our midterm study session. She'll be back soon.
I've got way too much work to do. If the prof's not going to be here, I'm not going to be here.
I mean, 15-minute rule. I say we bail.
It hasn't been 15 minutes.
Croissant!
I bet the professor has been murdered.
Why would you say that?
I mean, do you see the blood?
No, that's not blood.
I didn't get a good look, but I'd say there's about a 65% chance that was blood.
And the cast of pattern of the blood spatter indicates a directionality which suggests that it wasn't an accident.
And according to our lab last week, that rules out the possibility of a bullet or other projectile.
Meaning it could have been a clockwise jugular penetration, diagonal stab.
If it is murder, we should call the police. Do any of you guys know the prof's address?
We shouldn't. We would be considered the prime suspects.
Autant de merde.
I mean, Raven's right. You can't trust the cops. But it seems unlikely that Dr. Lynn's been murdered. See, my buddy who plays football at Southern Michigan University, his prof had to move in with his parents, and they got mad at that their kid was in his room all day, so they turned off the Wi-Fi. So his prof had to go to Starbucks to finish class that day. Clearly, our prof still has power, so I think perhaps the power flickered, and the new cat got spooked, which spilled the Bloody Mary. We know Dr. Lynn was drinking in these unprecedented times. And then that just, messed with the computer and the webcam. So our prof is probably on their way now to get some Wi-Fi at like a coffee shop or something.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
My professors from France never would have been so careless. Professors in France always drink wine in class, and you'd never see one spill a drop.
Why are you speaking with that accent? You studied in France for 1 year, and you're from Kentucky.
Sacré bleu. You have no proof.
Proof? Everyone goes on study abroad. We're a small liberal arts school. It's part of the Q plan.
Anyway, Brayson's theory, it seems unlikely.
If it's not that, then Prof must be dead. But what even is death, really? Nietzsche says the certain prospect of death could sweeten every life with a precious and fragrant drop of levity. And now you strange apothecary souls have turned into an ill-tasting drop of poison.
No, it's just common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Was that Hamlet?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched that on Disney Plus. It's the one with that Lin-Manuel guy, right?
Nah, not Hamilton. Hamlet. I mean, what is this, 2016?
God, I wish. Killer Clowns was better than whatever the hell this is.
Brayson, how do you know Hamlet?
I took Shakespeare. Guys, I'm an English major. I mean, did y'all not think that I had a major or something?
You do play football.
Yes, and I have a major because I need to have a major in order to graduate.
You know, en France, they call it football, and they actually play it with their feet. When I was in my study abroad, on barely.
Maybe this is all an exercise as part of our midterm, like experiential learning, the idea we're supposed to solve a fake crime. You know what they say, more in 4.
Well, I watched this documentary about these 3 people who got abducted by aliens. And 2 of them had this, magical time. But this one lady totally lost her pants, and the aliens were getting all nosy, seems like a totally plausible explanation.
That's definitely the plot of an SNL skit. Okay, well, the first thing we have to do is investigate the crime scene. We have to approach the scene with caution. We need to secure the perimeter.
I think it's secure.
Okay, guys, I got it. If I share my screen, see, this is according to the wiki, how to respond to a crime scene.
It's 7th week. Do you not have your notes?
No. Do you want to hear it in French? No.
I have my notes here. The next step is to photograph the crime scene and assess the possible reconstructive evidence, which could then lead us to hypothesizing some associative evidence. But y'all are way off. I don't think a crime happened here at all.
It might be that the prof was abducted by aliens, but if you take a look at the biological evidence of what is clearly a fine-grained, cast-off blood splatter, this causes us to believe that the professor was assailed by someone with a sharp object connecting with a major artery.
Looks like the flight path from blood shows that the splatter would have initiated at the top right-hand corner of our screen before depositing it onto the desk here.
Who could have done this?
Maybe she was killed to cover up the existence of the cat overlords. The professor must have found out that cats are really aliens from the planet Felis 975747982, and the cat arranged their murder to hide their existence.
I don't know, but you know what they say. It's always the husband.
Except that Dr. Lynn isn't married, but she does have a cat.
It wasn't the cat. That splatter pattern could never have been caused by cat claws. Cat claws could cause a Felis punctatus puncture, which wouldn't cause this type of splatter. We ruled that out a while ago.
But how did the assailant get into the room?
I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but a friend of mine back in Paris had a break-in at her apartment. She was on the 8th floor, and the burglar scaled the side of the building and broke in through her window.
Completely ridiculous conclusion to reach based on zero evidence from the crime. Wait.
The window.
Yeah, the window's wide open. Did any of you notice if it was open earlier?
I took a screen cap at the start of class.
Pull it up, quick.
But wait, hang on a second.
Don't stop. We're about to put all the pieces together. I can feel it.
Why would Raven take a screen cap of our class to begin with?
I take a screen capture at the start of all my classes, you know, just in case something like this happens.
Why on earth would you assume that something like this would ever happen?
You know what? I am willing to overlook all of this for the sake of the investigation. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Look, the window was shut, so the assailant must have entered from there.
So what do you think? What do we think the weapon might be?
The splatter is too thick to be a bullet. It could be a baseball bat, or maybe a knife.
Sans lui cristallerie.
English, please.
Sans lui cristallerie. It's the oldest glassmaker in France. I toured it on my study abroad last year.
Which I would like to remind you only lasted a semester.
That's all very interesting, but in case you haven't noticed, we're in the middle of a murder investigation.
Stupid American.
1 semester.
Clusat, you're American, and I'm taking offense to that.
Do you see that piece of glass on the floor? The pattern is original to the cristallerie, one of a kind. It's broken and super sharp. It could cause a blood splatter like that.
Oh my gosh, I think you're right. Hand-blown glass is a particularly sharp shatter pattern. It could totally tear straight through the jugular.
It's the perfect crime.
What are you talking about? I mean, we figured it out in 15 minutes.
Okay, so the assailant came in through the window with the broken glass, attacked the prof from behind, and exited through that same exact window, which is why there's no bloody footprints or other tracks.
So we figured it out. We passed the exam. Hey, Dr. Lin, you can come back.
Dr. Lin?
Do you think?
Murder. Real this time.
She's not actually dead, right?
Real this time.
Sorry. My cat Bundy jumped up on my computer and knocked over my Bloody Mary, spilled it all over my internet router and my camera. Fried my internet, so I'm at the coffee shop to use their internet. Well, we're out of time today, so let's schedule individual oral midterms next week.
You mean that wasn't the midterm?
I knew it. I knew it all along, McKaylee, and you didn't believe me.
That's because it was such a ridiculous conclusion based off implausible evidence that could actually conspire in that order.
So what I'm hearing is that I passed the exam.
No, that was not.
So what I'm hearing is that death is nothing more than an ephemeral state marking our transit from this world to the next, and that this life, as we know it, is merely one stepping stone on the path.
Raven, you genuinely thought she was dead the whole time?
Did I?
Can you stop with that outrageous accent? We went to kindergarten together, Janet.
Why do you always have to ruin my fun, Marie?
I thought you were an Esperanto major.
Hey, don't diss Esperanto. And I'm a German major. You know this, Marie. At least I'm not a shrew major.
Well, that was intense. McKaylee, do you have any questions? McKaylee? They thought I was dead? That's a really good idea for a midterm.